ideas that can help us all live our best lives. And so in today's episode, as I wrote in the description, I want to share with you a little bit about an experience I had yesterday on the ski slopes with three of my boys. I went skiing with my oldest son, Caden. He's 18. My second oldest son, Camden, he's 16. And my youngest son, Cashton, he's 12. And in this conversation, I had an opportunity to share what I think to be some powerful life lessons with them. And so if you decide to tune in, I think that you can be reminded of these lessons or maybe even learn them for the first time, and they have the chance of helping you to craft a better future for yourself and maybe even better understand how you can, through conversation, help even kids craft a better future for themselves. So if you're tuning in live, if you do me a favor and say hello below, and also if you're catching the replay, I love connecting with everyone who's tuning into these episodes. So before I get into it, I did want to just give you a quick update. We're in the middle of a really cool product promotion where we're releasing a powerful personal growth app. It's very low cost, and I've been using this app for about 3 years. I love it. I'm a huge fan of personal growth, getting up every day, going through a powerful morning routine, journaling, having a vision board, knowing knowing where it is that you're going, having goals, and this little app does all of that and so much more. And I just wanted to give a shout out to my friend Rob Skinner, who just joined, and then also yesterday Tyler Morgan, Lindy Sweeney, Dr. Jim Emerson, Joseph Bradley, and Bronwyn Oschlager, who also joined. Welcome aboard. And if you guys want to check that out, we still have about 36 hours left for the 40% off discount. And if you want to look at the app, you can go to pipelinemoney.com/magic. That'll take you to a video where you can see the whole 30-minute overview with the story. If you're in a rush, there's an 8-minute product demo in that video, and all you need to do is click on the little link in the bottom right-hand corner of the video player. You'll see a little box that has some bullets in it. And if you click that, it'll pop up, and then there will be a link to go to the product demo. So thanks for letting me get that out of the way. Facebook, I think, is blocking my messages. So if you're messaging me and I'm not responding, I am trying, but for some reason, there's some kind of an error where it's saying my message is failing to send. Okay, so let me get into the story. So yesterday, I was on the ski lift with my oldest son, and we were riding up the hill. And I had the thought. I said, Caden, do you know what the 2 most important days of a person's life are? And comment below if you guys have some guesses. Maybe some of you have heard this before. Maybe you have a guess. I'd love to see, what would you say are the 2 most important days of a person's life? And I didn't make this up. I heard it somewhere, but I think it has a lot of power to it. So my son Caden started giving me a few guesses, and I said, oh, that's a good guess, but it's not quite what I'm looking for. And then finally he said, okay, the day you were born. And I said, that's it. That's the first one. You know, if you're not born, being born, that's pretty important to life, right? So the day you were born, that's the first one. And when he gave me that answer, I said, great job. You now have an F, because there are only 2 answers. And if you get 1 right, you have a 50%, and if you get 0 right, you have a 0%. So you went from F to F. Come on, can you get the other one and get 100% A plus 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 plus? And he started to laugh, and he continued to think about this question: what are the 2 most important days of a person's life? And finally, he guessed it. Not in the exact phrase that I was looking for, but it was what I was looking for, but phrased in another way. And I said, that's it, son. The 2 most important days of a person's life are, and I know we have some live viewers, but I'm not seeing any comments. So do you guys have any guesses? Who are you watching the live video right now? I'd love to know. Comment below. But what I told him was the 2 most important days of a person's life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. The day you find out why. And I said, do you know what that means, son? And he said, the day you find out why. Is it like, you know, there's something we're supposed to do while we're here on this earth? And I said, yeah, I think that's it. I said, I believe that we all have a unique mission and purpose here on this earth, and that we're born for something. There's something that maybe we are uniquely qualified to do. And when you find that purpose, when you find why it was that you were born, that's an important day because it can guide and inform so many of your decisions all throughout the rest of your life. And so we got off the ski lift and we continued to ski and had a great rest of the day. And when we left, my kids wanted to go grab some lunch. So we stopped at Panda Express on the way home. And so I'm sitting with Caden, my oldest, and my other two kids were there too. And I said, do you guys know the two most important days of a person's life? And we went through the same process that I went through with Caden. My son Camden, he finally guessed the first one, the day you were born, after he guessed a few others. And then my son Caden said, great job, Camden. You now have an F. Can you get the next one? And so anyway, we continued to have this conversation where we were able to talk about this, like the day you were born and the day you find out why. And as we were talking about this, the book, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho came up. And my son Camden said, you guys have read that book? Because I said to Caden, yeah, remember when we read that book? And that book talked about a personal legend. And Caden's like, yeah. And I was like, that's kind of what, the day you find out, that's what your why is, like your personal legend, your purpose, what your life is supposed to add up to. And finding that is really important. And Camden said, I've read that book. And I said, no way, you have? And he said, yeah. I said, what'd you think of it? And he's like, it was kind of mid. I said, what do you mean it was kind of mid? He's like, well, it had some good ideas, but it was kind of slow and a little boring to read through. But anyway, we continued to talk about that book and talk about a personal legend and finding your why, finding your purpose. Now, obviously, my kids are all still very young. Caden is 18, so he's about to go out into the world. He's just finishing up high school. But I love the idea that these seeds can be planted in their minds so that they can be thinking about, what is my personal legend? What am I supposed to do while I'm here on this earth? Is there something that if I dedicate my mind and my time and my talents to can add up to the greatest benefit, not just to me, but to other people here on this planet? And my hope is that because these seeds are being planted in my kids' minds, they can be aware to those and be looking for them and be thinking about, what is it that I want to do with my life? And the other real quick highlight of this story was the fact that I had indeed read the book, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, so that when my son Camden mentioned it and that he had mentioned it, we could have a conversation about it. And I was so thankful that at some point in my past, I had gone through that book. I'm in the habit of reading every day. Hey, Veronique, thanks for saying hello. First commenter today, tuning in from Belgium. I appreciate you guys so much. But had I not read that book, when Camden mentioned it, we wouldn't have been able to have a conversation about it. So this just helped to remind me of another big benefit of reading every day. Not only do you grow yourself, not only do you expand your perspective of the world, not only do you give yourself ideas as to what you can do to succeed and what you can avoid that might cause you failure without having to go through it yourself, because other people have gone through similar things and they can tell you, hey, this worked out well, this didn't work out so well. So instead of you having to go make those mistakes on your own, if you read, you can choose to not have to make those mistakes and you can become more wise and make better decisions. So I guess that's another little highlight from this experience, this reminder of how important deciding to read every day really is. So that's my message. I wanted to pass that along. And also just let you know, that's another reason that I'm so excited about this app that we're releasing right now. It's a low-cost app that guides people through crucial things you can do every day to grow yourself. And one of those crucial things that it reminds you of is to read every day. And not only does it remind you to read every day, but there's a journal portion in this app where you can keep a journal. And when I was talking to my friend Rob, who just joined this morning, he said, Paul, he goes, you're not going to believe this. Well, actually, you will believe this because you're like me. And I said, what's that? And he goes, last week, I was just asking myself, how can I find that friend of Paul's that made this app? Because he had become exposed. He got exposed to this app a couple of years ago. He bought it, but he didn't use it. So he knew about it, but he didn't use it. And so just this week, he was saying to himself, I really need to find that app because I want to keep a digital journal. And what Rob told me was he has all these ideas that come to him, And because he doesn't write them down, sometimes he'll get to a space where, what was that great idea? Or what was that thing I wanted to remember? And he can't remember it. And he realized that if he could have a place to write it down that was easily searchable, that wouldn't happen again. And as Rob was telling me this story, it reminded me of something that Jim Rohn mentioned in an audio that I went through one time, where he was talking about the power of keeping a journal. And here's what Jim Rohn said. He goes, write it down. Don't trust your memory. Write it down if you want to remember it. Write it down if you want to be inspired by it in the future. Write it down if you want to be instructed by it in the future. Write it down if you want to be sure not to forget this important lesson or this powerful experience or this special moment that you're going through. Write it down. Because he said our minds forget. And when Rob told me that, I was thinking that, Rob, you're normal. There's nothing wrong with you in saying that you forget important things, because all of us are that way. So it is important to write things down. And it's another reason that I really love this app. It gives people an easy way to audio dictate a journal every day, to keep some notes every day. And one thing I told Rob that I've mentioned on one of my previous lives is I said, Rob, do you have an iPhone? And he said, yeah. And I said, do you ever say to Siri, hey Siri, speak screen? And he said, no, I haven't used that before. And I said, what's really cool is if you write down your notes or a journal entry in a digital format and you have those, one of the things you can do is you can just pull them up and say, hey Siri, speak screen, and your phone will read you your notes. So the way that I use this today is before I sat down for my study of a book that I'm in, I went to my journal entry where I've been keeping all of my notes of that study, and I said, hey Siri, speak screen, and Siri was able to read me my notes as I reviewed them and went through as I read them. So I could read them and I could hear them and I could review all of the important information that I'd picked up from this book, and then I can begin my study for today. Because repetition is something that can help us ingrain the lessons. I love repetition. I love repeating great ideas. It helps me remember. It helps put them inside of me. So this is another thing you can do in your personal growth every day that can really be powerful in helping you to remember important things and grow even faster. So, hey, Danny, good to see you. Danny says, it feels like I just seen you. Yeah, we were just on a live coaching mastermind. So thanks for being there, Danny, and thanks for being here on the live today. So that's all I've got to share today, guys. If by chance you're finding me for the first time and got value from this message and want to learn more from me or just stay connected to me, I'd love to encourage you to subscribe to me on whatever social media platform you're finding this video on. And the best way to stay in touch, to be sure you don't miss my content in the future, because the algorithms are sometimes fickle and sporadic, is to subscribe to my email list. Hey, Lindsay, good to see you. She says, hey, Paul, reading Think and Grow Rich right now. Yes! Awesome book to be reading, Lindsay. Kudos to you. Read that book, digest it, think about it, apply it in your life. That book completely transformed my life many years ago and still guides my actions and beliefs today. So I'm so happy you're reading that. But anyway, the free gift for subscribing to my email list. So I created a free training. It's called The Magical Morning, and it's about 40 minutes, and it walks you through important things you can do every morning to set your day up for the most success, to help yourself grow, to improve yourself, to be inspired in the biggest way, to be sure that you have things to talk about in your content if you're creating content, to be sure that you have powerful lessons to teach the people that you love when those moments arise. That's what this Magical Morning training is meant to do. And you can get that 100% for free by visiting growrichmastermind.com/magic. You'll get that training and you'll be subscribed to my email list to get all of my future content. So that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Lindsay, Danny, Veronique, thanks for commenting below and saying hello. And to all of the replay viewers, I love you all. I believe in you. I know you've got greatness within you. I hope you get out there today, take action, go for your dreams. And I look forward to catching you in a future episode and or in a Facebook chat or a phone call or a text message or maybe even a reply to one of the emails that I send out. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a great day and bye.